and welcome back to Conversations with JR. It's been a very, very long time since I have spoken to my YouTube audience. Several months ago, when we were ordered to shelter into place, I almost lost my focus and I almost lost my voice and my concentration. But day by day, as I focused on standing up, standing strong, and getting through what I need to get through every day, I thought about letters to self. And if you can recall, I asked all of my viewers, all of my supporters, that this year we were going to sit down each month and write letters to self. So I'm going to take you back. In January, I wrote letters to Goodbye 2019, saying goodbye to 2019 and hello to a new year. In February, I wrote Dear Love. And in March, I wrote to Dear Life because I was writing to my supporters in celebration of life. I also wrote to Dear Mom to celebrate May of Mother's Day. But what I'm going to do right now is it's June, and we have gone past the celebration of fathers. But in light of all the African American males out there now that are hurting and broken and feel depressed because of the numerous of African American males that have been gunned down, slaughtered, and murdered. And the most recent one is our beloved George Floyd. It really troubled me to see our young black men crying down on their knees, looking so helpless and looking so hopeless. It is my request to the black community that we support our young black men and we support them in their homes and in their families to find answers, and that we uplift them during this time of racial upheaval. So, with that said, I have my letter for the month of June. And for the month of June, my letter is to my father, Dear Dad. My father passed away many, many years ago. I think I was 30 years old. I'm 56 now. So I was 30 years old. But my father played a major role in my life, a major role in my life. And another thing that I would like to say to a lot of African American fathers out there is that your children need you, but your daughter needs you also. She needs you in her life because you are the first male in her life. You're going to be the first male to teach her the lessons that she needs to know in life. You need to be present in her life, physically and emotionally. Regardless to whether you're living in the house with the mother, living with the wife, stop calling them baby mothers and honor them. I think it is very, very important. Not I think, I know that it is very important for a father's presence in a daughter's life. Let me ask you a question to all the fathers out there. When was the last time you thought about sitting down and having a father-daughter chat? When? See, I didn't get that because my father was busy with surviving and taking care of family. So there was things in life that I missed out on because I didn't have that deep connection, that bond, those father-daughter chats with my father. So today, I would like to read this letter to my dad and to all the dads out there. And I would ask you to just think about your relationship with your children, but fathers, especially your relationship with your daughters. Dear Dad, it's your baby girl. It's been a while since I've looked at your picture. There's no special reason that I haven't looked at it. I've just been going through so many changes. But despite the turbulence in my life, I am keeping my head up. Anyway, I've been thinking this father-daughter talk is long overdue. First, I would like to say thank you for being my dad and doing the best that you knew how to raise me and my sisters and my brothers while being a husband. And you wore so many other different hats. The truth is that the family hasn't been the same since you went away. Looking back, we created some unforgettable moments. I am thankful for the time that we shared in the kitchen. You hired me to be your little sous chef. I still use a lot of the skills that you taught me until this day. You will be proud to know that little sis is doing her best to continue the traditions by having the family barbecues over at her house. Her house reminds me of our childhood home. Dad, your parties and barbecues were legendary. Each time the family gathered together, we reminisce about back in the day. One of my greatest memories of you was May 24th, 1984. You were there with me when my son, your grandson, was born. I remember the day you stood up at Reverend Cooper's church and you sang and you dedicated Sam's Cook, "A Change Is Gonna Come to Me." I remember those long, beautiful drives in that old blue station wagon to your house in Georgia. And you always made sure that we stopped at south of the border. I remember the day of your birthday party. You and Uncle James loaded up 2 cars and we spent the day at Atlantic City. It was a beach then. This was way before the boom of the casinos. Every time I go to those oldie but goodie places, I remember that song that we used to dance to, "Twisting the Night Away." My heart skips a beat thinking back to those days when we used to dance together to our favorite songs. I remember the day that you stood in the street and I watched that black hearse take your body to your final resting place. So, we never had a chance to have that father-daughter talk. And I guess you were too busy being a provider and a husband and a father and a family man and a mediator that you didn't get to see that your little girl was growing up and she was maturing into a curious young lady. I needed you to tell me that one day someone special would come along. And in the meantime, I needed you around to scare away all the wolves. Daddy, why didn't you ever tell me that I was your princess? I needed that gentle hand of a father to help walk me through the confusion of adolescence and the wild waves of my 20s and my 30s. They were some tumultuous years. Those were the most horrible years of my life. I was suffering. So much pain and darkness and confusion, but no love, guidance, wisdom. I needed the protection of the warm, safe arms of my father. No one taught me to make sense of value and worth. Dad, I'm ashamed to tell you that the tragedies that I have lived through were due to dysfunctional relationship with men. Why? Because no male role model to show me how I should be treated. Dad, I sold out so many times until I didn't have anything else to give. Why? Why were you so busy being a disciplinary, ruling us with an iron fist? You always felt the need to have, to prove to us that you were the one that were in charge. In my adult life, I observed my father I observed other fathers having pretend tea parties with their daughters, sharing father and daughter time. I see little girls giggling with their dad and pushing them on the swing. I never even had a serious father-daughter dance. Yes, you taught me how to survive and hustle and work hard for what I want. That was all good, Dad. But I needed advice about life that only a father could give a daughter. You were always present yet absent. I always wondered what would happen in my life if I had a father like Dr. Huxtable on the Bill Cosby show. What would my life be like to grow up with a father who I could emotionally connect to, talk to without being afraid. Instead of my childhood was filled with pain, tears, anger, loneliness, confusion, and a lot of unanswered questions. Dad, I stumbled through life. I have survived abuse, being desperate to the point of almost losing my mind, storms, pain, darkness, hunger, financial lacking, to almost being homeless. But through all of this, Dad, I held on to my faith. And I always looked at your picture. I hear our words of wisdom. Sometimes I feel like you were here, that life wouldn't be so difficult. Anyway, Dad, out of all the tragedies, your little girl made it big. I am a college grad, teacher, author, classical singer, motivational speaker, and mentor. The biggest news, I completed Bible school and followed in your footsteps and became a licensed evangelist. Yeah, Dad. Despite all that life have thrown at me, the greatest lesson you taught me was to keep pushing and hold your head up and never give up. I feel better, living better, and proud that I had a dad like you. So there you have it. There you have my letter to Dad. I still encourage everyone, now that we're home, sheltered in place. Yeah, we're going back out to the world. There's no more normal. It's called change. I still challenge you to sit down each month, get quiet, create that space, and write a letter to self. Write letters about things that are unresolved, things that are hurting you, people who are no longer in your life. I know this letter to my dad helped me, and it helped me to understand what he went through as a father and that he did do the best that he can. So, until the next time, I hope the conversations that you are having in your home is of hope, peace, empowerment, and healing. And don't forget, dads, have that father-daughter talk. Until the next time, thank you.